Joe loved to twang her guitar and sing while the prairie wind whistled through the thirsty sagebrush. Singing with the wind was one of the ways Reba Joe entertained herself on the lonesome prairie. Sometimes she amused herself by racing her horse, Flash, against a tumbleweed cartwheeling across her daddy's land. But her favorite pastime of all was roping. She lassoed cacti, water buckets, fence posts, and any unlucky critter that crossed her path. One blustery morning, as she was riding the range looking for something to lasso, Reba Joe came upon a dry riverbed. Her daddy had warned her to stay away from these arroyos. He'd told her that a prairie storm could blow in quicker than a rattlesnake's strike, causing a flash flood to rip through the riverbed. The swift water would wash away anything or anyone in its way. Reba Joe knew she should turn back. But right at the edge of this gully, she spied a vulture, all fat and sassy, sitting on top of a dried-up old well, just daring her to toss her spinning rope around his long, ugly neck. As Reba Joe's lasso whirled into the air, a great gust of wind came whipping through the arroyo and blew her new cowgirl hat right off her head and down to the bottom of the dusty old well. Reba Joe scrambled to the edge of the well. She peered down into the darkness and commenced to crying. Suddenly, she heard a small voice say, "¿Qué pasa, señorita?" She looked around and wondered if the wind blowing through the arroyo was fooling her ears. But then, there in the sand, she spotted a big, fat horned toad looking up at her. "What's the matter, señorita?" he asked again. "Oh," she cried, "the brand new hat my daddy bought for me just blew down into this stinking old well. I'll never be able to get it out, and I'll be in a peck of trouble when he finds out I've been playing down here near the arroyo." The horned toad looked at her slyly and said, "I'll fetch your sombrero for you if you will do tres pequeños favors for me." She sniffed and asked, "3 small favors? Like what?" "All you have to do is feed me some chili, play your guitar for me, and let me take a siesta in your sombrero." "Some chili, a song, and a nap in my hat? I don't think so, amigo," replied Reba Joe. "Okay, señorita, but do you mind if I follow you home and listen as you explain to your padre where your new sombrero is and how it got there?" "Good point, Toad," Reba Joe said. "You've got yourself a deal." Reba Joe placed the little critter in a splintered wooden bucket and carefully lowered him down the dry well, where he retrieved Reba Joe's hat. Then, without so much as a muchas gracias, Reba Joe snatched her hat from the horned toad and galloped home. As she rode out of sight, she ignored the horned toad's cries of, "Esperate! Wait up, señorita, wait up!" Long about midday, when Reba Joe had sat down to eat, she heard a tap, tap, tapping at the ranch house door. Reba Joe opened the door, but when she saw it was the fat horned toad, she slammed the door in his face. His small voice called, Señorita! Señorita, por favor! Please, let me come in! The horned toad rapped on the door again. This time, Reba Joe's father opened it and spotted the little fella on the porch. "Hola, señor," said the horned toad. "Well, howdy, Mr. Toad. What brings you here?" "A little deal that I made with your daughter, señor." "What's this all about, Reba Joe?" her father asked her. Reba Joe admitted that the horned toad had done her a favor, and in return she had promised to feed him some chili, play her guitar for him, and let him take a nap in her hat. "Now, Reba Joe," said her daddy, "if you strike a bargain in these parts, a deal's a deal. Come on in, partner. You look mighty hungry." "I am indeed. Yo tengo mucha hambre," said the horned toad. "I hope that is chili I smell." He peeked at Reba Joe's meal. "Dad, burn it," Reba Joe muttered. She pushed her bowl of chili toward him. Soon, the horned toad's belly was bulging. "Now for a little serenata," he said. Reba Joe stomped over, grabbed her guitar, and belted out a lullaby for her guest. Then the drowsy little horned toad eyed Reba Joe's hat and yawned, saying, "That lovely music has made me muy soliento. I am ready for my siesta." "Forget it, bucko," Reba Joe snapped. "You're not getting near my hat. No lizard cooties allowed." "Now, señorita, remember what your wise padre said about striking a bargain in these parts," said the clever little horned toad. I know," grumbled Reba Joe. "A deal's a deal." And with that, she flipped him into her hat. "Before I take my siesta, I have just one more favor to ask," said the horned toad. "Now what?" asked Reba Joe. "Would you give me a kiss, por favor?" asked the horned toad. "You've gotta be kiddin'!" shrieked Reba Joe. "You know dang well a kiss wasn't part of this deal, you low-life reptile." "If you do this one last thing for me, we'll call it even, and I'll be on my way pronto," the horned toad said. "You'll leave right away?" Reba Joe asked suspiciously. "You promise?" "Si, te prometo," agreed the horned toad. Reba Joe thought hard for a minute. She glared at the horned toad. "I can't believe I'm even considering this," she said. "But if it means you'll leave right now, pucker up, lizard lips." Before Reba Joe could wipe the toad spit off her lips, a fierce dust devil spun into the yard, swept the horned toad off his feet, and whirled him around in a dizzying cloud of prairie dust. When the dust cleared, there, before Reba Joe, stood a handsome young caballero. "Who are you?" Reba Joe demanded, staring at the gentleman. "I am Prince Maximilian Jose Diego Lopez de España." "Whoa! How did this happen?" Reba Joe asked in amazement. "Many, many years ago, when I came to this country, I offended the great spirit of the arroyo. The spirit put a spell on me and turned me into a horned toad. For many years, I've been waiting for a cowgirl like you to break the spell. Muchas gracias for my freedom, señorita. Now I'll be leaving as I promised." "Now hold on for just a dad-burn minute," said Reba Joe, stepping in front of the nobleman. "I recollect my daddy reading me a story where something like this happened. Aren't we supposed to get hitched and ride off into the sunset?" With a twinkle in his eye, the caballero replied, "Lo siento. So sorry, Reba Joe. When you strike a bargain in these parts, a deal's a deal. Adios, señorita."